Hey guys, welcome to the first ever podcast we have with In CTRL and friends. It's actually not named, so hopefully we can come up with a name soon. The guys are rubbing their faces on the mic. It's kind of weird. Why don't we go around and kind of explain who's here, who's all present
here
for the cast. State your name and any other interesting facts.
I'm Joe, IC Joe, and I'm from the state of California.
I see Joe too.
You said state name.
Really?
Get out.
Well, I'm Amanda. I see Amanda. And basically I'm the best, so.
Woo!
I'm IC Hyton. I'm a token Asian guy.
IAmTheAvarice. I do YouTubes and Twitches and stuff. The sites respectively / IAmTheAvarice. Check me out.
Well, I'm Krys. I have a blog called Krys of All Trades. I'm kind of all over the place, just saying. But I'm here with IC as the content coordinator.
And I am Krys, and I generally write most of the features on the website, as well as having opinions and stuff.
All right, so we're starting with Star Wars Battlefront, and, well, mostly the celebration. Amanda had the amazing opportunity to actually check that out. So what was it like over in Anaheim?
Well, it was freaking amazing, number one. I only got to go 2 days, unfortunately. Well, more like 1.5. And the other half was spent standing in line for an autograph.
That's about right.
Yeah, that convention life.
Yeah, 3-hour lines waiting.
For that, like, 5-minute panel, or...
Yeah.
What panel was it? I'm curious.
Well, I went and saw Carrie Fisher.
Woo!
Course,
Always my favorite.
Sick.
I love that woman.
She loves you.
Well, I saw the picture from that. It was her and her... Was it a dog?
Oh yeah, her little dog, Gary.
Gary?
She took it with her to the celebration.
She takes that dog everywhere with her.
I was sitting on the couch, like, next to her, just
Nice.
chilling.
After that, wandered around some more and then got in line for Revenge of the Sith in 3D.
Nice.
Nice.
How
I'm
was
sorry.
that?
Wow.
Don't.
But it was 3D, though.
Look,
Maybe
it was
made
in
a little
3D.
bit better.
And
Maybe it
and,
enhanced the no.
Reverberations in the screen with it.
Yeah.
No, it was really awesome. Ian McDermott, who played the Emperor, introduced it along
Nice.
with Dennis Mirren, which was amazing. And it was really cool, you know, the audience reaction, people clapping for the children dying, and everybody screaming at
The
them.
women and the children. Ah. Well, that's really cool. I'm glad you got to check that out. I mean, I've seen a lot of pictures from, like, you know, everyone in cosplay and just kind of in your element sort of thing.
Yes.
So what is everyone, as far as, like, Star Wars Battlefront, that's really huge. They released a trailer on that. What does everybody think of that so far, as far as, like, the gameplay?
I'm excited, but I'm a little bummed that all the air combat's going to be handled within planet. They're not going to be able to go transition from space to.
Yeah. Well, I read that they're still thinking about it, but it would
Is it
probably
going to be
be
DLC though?
yeah, later down the line, which is lame.
Even if it's DLC, though, that doesn't mean it's not going to be free. I
True.
mean,
When I first heard that DICE was doing Battlefront, like, I had kind of a nerd boner. Because that sounds fantastic. But
Yeah.
then I saw the trailer with the, like, in-engine rendered
In-engine,
stuff.
not
Yeah, in-engine,
in-game.
not in-game.
yes.
And
It was pretty.
it looked amazing.
Yeah.
But they didn't, like, it seemed more like the whole time all I'm hearing about is what's not going to be in it. And
Yeah.
I think I heard at some point that AT-ATs are going to be on rails, which
From
that's a little bit
From what
disappointing.
some people were saying, it sounds like it's going to be like an objective kind of thing. So one side is going to defend it as it's on its way to attack, like, the rebel base, and then the rebels have to try and take it out before it gets to the base.
I heard it's going to be like the AC-130s in Battlefield.
I don't know.
I don't know about that.
I'm on the fence about it.
Yeah.
I want to see more, and I'm sure we'll probably see more when E3 comes
Oh, yeah.
around. And I'm vaguely optimistic, but my hype is down. Like, I don't quite know what to expect from it anymore. I hope it's good.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll see more on that, like you said, at E3. So Well, we had Call of Duty Black Ops 3. They just released the reveal trailer?
The reveal trailer, yeah.
What do you guys think of that?
I'm not a big fan of Call of Duty.
What'd you think of the trailer?
It didn't impress me. Call of Duty
Whatever.
never changes for me. Sorry.
No.
Actually, I think they're finally getting it, that they do need to change the way that the Call of Duty games have been played. Like,
Their first step in that was Advanced Warfare.
Yeah. Advanced Warfare introduced a lot of new elements, and it was a really solid game. It was fun. Not one of my all-time favorite games, but it was plenty of fun. And I think they're understanding they need to take more extreme directions, and
Well, especially after the poor reception of Ghosts.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was just horribly, like, I don't know. I played maybe 20 minutes of it, and I was done.
Honestly.
And,
I've got a cat clawing my groin.
She's like,
It
"Nope."
looks great, but Treyarch does amazing trailers,
Yeah.
so I'm actually vaguely hopeful about that one, and I haven't really been hopeful about a Call of Duty game in a few years.
Same here. Ever since, actually, I think Modern Warfare 3. Yeah.
that train wreck.
Well, that one, I mean, we bought it. I think we traded it in after like a month, and
Not
then
even that, it
after
was maybe like 2
Ghosts,
weeks.
we red boxed it, and returned that one within a day. I had a lot of fun with Advanced Warfare. Pretty much everything that I got to experience from it, and then just returning to Treyarch and their Black Ops element. I think that's really, it's going to be good for Call of Duty this year.
I have to honestly say I've never been disappointed in a Treyarch Call of Duty.
That's true. I know a lot of people are really hoping and expecting them to bring back World at War.
I was
World at War
hoping they
2.
would.
That'd be a good one to bring back.
Yeah, see that one
World of War was amazing.
that one was the first one that I actually got into pretty deeply. And even though it was World War II, a lot of people are like, the weapons are not modern. But it was a lot of fun. Like even even on some of
Very
those
good.
giant maps with the vehicles and stuff like
Yeah.
that, the vehicle warfare was really good in World at War. I had fun with it.
A lot of hate got slapped on that game just because there were so many World War II games
Yeah,
back
that's
then.
true.
And not only that, wasn't that one right after Call of Duty 4?
Yeah,
That's
it was really
why.
shortly after.
That's why
So he's
4
like,
blew everyone's mind.
Yeah.
And then we went back to a World War II game.
Yeah.
And at the time, everyone was just done with World War II shooters.
Yeah. I agree, though. That one was great. That one, I had a lot of fun with it.
Definitely.
And, I mean, COD 4, though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
I've got
that-
like 2,000 hours logged in that game.
Yeah, not to take anything away from that, but yeah, just I think now, especially with all the modern warfare gaming that they have with all the futuristic weapons and stuff, it would be kind of refreshing to go back to something like World War II.
I do miss my Car 98K.
There you go.
I want to see a revolutionary.
There you-
Revolutionary. war Call of Duty.
I want to
Fire
see.
one
I want to
shot,
see that
take out-
online,
Right?
online multiplayer Revolutionary War.
Fire one
Like,
shot,
hold
take like a
on,
minute to reload.
20 minutes later. Exactly.
You feel like
Joe's
you've got
reloading.
360
like,
no
his,
scopes with
His musket.
you're that dude who's got the sickest aim
Then you got
on
the OP
server.
guys
You're
running
just
around with
shoving shit
blunderbusses.
into it.
Oh my gosh.
You're the guy with the sickest aim on the server, but if you're more than 100 yards away, it just shoot.
Yeah. Also, at the end of the trailer, they showed off a little snippet of the zombies, which everyone, it's Treyarch. They
Yeah.
brought zombies in, so it was kind of a given with that one. You guys think they're gonna bring back the old original zombies characters?
I think that would be pretty fun. I really like
I think
those.
so. I like them.
those characters that cast.
I hope so. And then at the end, of course, the pre-order plug. You get into the beta.
I hope that means they're doing dedicated servers, though. That they're actually beta
that's-
testing.
yeah.
Say
they
that
haven't revealed that yet,
every
but-
game.
I hope, on top of the dedicated servers thing, I hope that they're using their extra year well. 'Cause-
Yeah.
Thank you, Sledgehammer. Heart.
Anyway,
There you go.
yeah. So yeah, the pre-order. You get into the beta, but I mean, do you guys think that's incentive enough to pre-order? Like,
Not at this point for me.
I gotta go with that's a lot better pre-order incentive than a lot have been.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the stuff in the past has been like, here's a free skin.
Well, yeah.
Or,
yeah.
if you get into the season pass right away, you get this gun. Getting beta access, though, I mean, that's pretty cool because that gives you time before you actually pick up your pre-order to decide whether or not you actually want to maintain that pre-order. Like maybe you want to get your $5 back.
I don't know, I like the thought of betas and actually getting to try the game before it's purchased. Just me
Yes.
personally.
Yes.
but at the same time, you also respect it as a beta and not a finished product. And so many people play the beta and say they hate it, and then they
that's
don't want to
true.
pick up the game because it was, the servers were bad, or
Or the
they had
controls were
glitches
weird.
or
Yeah.
something. And
True.
so many people just take the beta for the finished product. But anyway, back to pre-orders. I don't know. I feel like that's all they want to lean on now is pre-orders to sell games, and they're not selling the games, they're selling the pre-orders.
Yeah, I've gotten more into I've actually gotten more into buying everything digitally. I pre-order stuff,
A lot
but
of
I end
people
up
are,
just
Yeah.
I'm getting digital now
Mhm.
because I don't have to wait in a line behind a bunch of sweaty people
That
waiting for their game.
and now, like, especially with the consoles, now they're letting you preload games now
Yeah,
too.
Preload,
exactly.
When you pre-order them, so
Well,
they're
preload
catching up.
and things like with the EA Access, like we got to check out Hardline and stuff, and they give you a few hours to play the game. So I mean, that's actually really cool. That again, kind of how I feel about betas. You get to check out the game before you actually buy it.
Not
And
only that, I'm noticing, especially on Xbox, with a lot of games, if you pre-order them, you get discounts on them as well.
Yeah.
So instead of being a $60 game, it's like $53.99.
Mhm.
So, and then half the time you get the DLC pre-order bonus with it.
And of course, Steam always has most of their stuff on sale too. Witcher was like $53.99, like you were saying a couple weeks back.
It always seemed a little bit weird to me how adverse a lot of console gamers are to digital content, because I mean, I've been on
PCs
Steam for like almost 15 years now,
Right.
and I've been getting digital content for
No,
a really long time.
I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those. I like having my physical copies. I like,
Yeah.
knowing that I could trade it in if I want to. But I'm starting to get to where I'm very much more open to digital.
Yeah, same.
There's definitely value to the physical content. Like, I mean, if I had bought only the digital copy of Valkyria Chronicles, I couldn't have gotten it signed when we went to
Right. Expo.
Yeah, Expo, and that's super cool because now I have that, and it's got like a shiny place in my game area thing.
Yeah.
So that's pretty rad. And if it were digital, I couldn't do that.
The other thing too, like, I remember when the Xbox One was originally announced, and the whole hubbub about pre-owned games and all that stuff. One of the things that was thrown around was, since you couldn't share your games in the way that you normally can, that there was going to be a way for you to trade the game back in, even if it was digital, for a price. So I think it would be really cool if they could do something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be a pretty cool service. I have like
Yeah.
300 games on Steam. And there's a few of them I wouldn't mind getting rid of.
Yeah.
Call of Duty Black Ops 1.
Next topic is about MMOs on console. This is kind of an interesting topic. We have, kind of a variety of.
The surgence of MMOs coming out on console now.
Well, not only that, but just the people
Finally.
present. I mean, have been playing on on PC. Like we have Steve, who's a lot of that's on PC. I mean, and Krys. Yeah, I know you play like
Yeah.
WoW and stuff like that, but. I know you've been actually into like Neverwinter. We have like Final Fantasy, Elder Scrolls Online. What are your thoughts on MMOs? Are they, are there pros? What are the cons?
Well, first of all, I think, especially with Neverwinter right now, they're showing that it's definitely possible to do MMOs on a console and have it work. I mean, this is about Neverwinter itself, but is it perfect? No, but I enjoy it, and it is what it is. I haven't gotten to play ESO yet, so we'll see about that one. I know, because I played Neverwinter on PC, and that one, I could not stand the controls. I can play controls on any other MMO on PC, but that one, the controls I couldn't stand, and the controls on the Xbox One on the controller fit it perfectly.
Like Hyton, have you had a chance? I know you played, WoW on PC. Have you had a chance to try any of the MMO on console yet?
Not yet, but I'm looking forward to the Elder Scrolls.
Right on.
Yeah.
Get Neverwinter.
Neverwinter.
I think it's unanimous. Everyone wants to play that.
One of us.
And I haven't gotten too much into MMO. I know Chris has been trying to get me into like WoW, and so is Steve and like some coworkers.
I want you to
but
get into Final Fantasy
oh,
14, bro.
I got you playing that now after I quit. I tried to get you into
Aw.
You could play 14
I did
on
play
PC.
with you for a little
it.
bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but I couldn't navigate their goddamn site.
Yeah, Square Enix.
But it's on
website's
Steam
kinda
now,
wonky.
so it's a lot easier to get around and
Yeah.
like pay my subscription. I've been having a lot of fun with it lately.
Yeah, 14 was great. I
yeah.
miss it sometimes.
I wish Arcade had caught on a little bit better though. That game was so good until they started making it really pay to win.
Yeah, that's
Like-
kind of how Neverwinter is, but it's not a paywall essentially. Like you can still get to end game content without having to spend money on it.
Oh, okay.
So,
Unless you're like me and I spent $40 on a mount.
you idiot.
Joe buys everything.
I don't mind little stuff like that. Like aesthetic stuff is obviously fine. Who cares?
Yeah.
And I don't mind the stuff that's like pay for double XP for X
Right.
amount of time.
Right.
Because if you have a job, you don't have time to be
Right.
Grinding and-
grinding
yeah.
all damn day.
But you have
and-
money to win.
That's
But like one of the things that Arcade did was there was a crafting component, and they decided to take it out of the game and make it so that the only way you could get it was by paying for these boxes, and not every box would have the crafting component in it. So
That actually sounds a lot like Neverwinter's lock boxes.
they did end
All
up
300
taking
of
that
them.
out, but they also like increased the rarity compared to the alpha, and I paid fucking $300 to be in the alpha with a friend of mine.
What the hell, man?
That was oh
You got the Super Deluxe Founders one?
yeah, that was the
Oh.
only way to get into the alpha. To get into the beta, it was only $50.
Yeah.
But
That game looked good, but not that good.
I don't mind. The way I've always kind of measured whether or not games are worth it is if I get like usually like 2 times as much fun out of the game as it would take for me to earn the money to pay for it, and Arcade easily did that and more. And I basically robbed Activision with COD 4 because Jesus Christ, I paid like a penny per hour for that game.
Yeah, I definitely think we might end up seeing a lot more MMOs on consoles in the next few years. Especially, I think ESO is really going to be the one that like makes or breaks it, just because it's such a big name game.
I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, because in a way ESO has kind of already failed.
On PC.
They really didn't catch PC, but it didn't catch on very well on last gen consoles either. I mean, it could have a resurgence. Final Fantasy XIV did. That game came back hard.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah, it wasn't even on my radar, and then I got invited to the closed beta for Final Fantasy XIV and just fell in love with that one. I don't know. I think console gamers are different, so I think ESO might be received a little better than it was on PC.
It might do great. I mean, Elder Scrolls has always done really well on consoles, since they started putting them on consoles.
I think that's going to be due in part to the fact that there's not that big of a market yet for MMOs on console. So we're just pretty much like, give us
something to check
Yeah.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. And the last kind of sort of MMO was like Destiny.
No, Destiny's not an MMO.
It's
No,
yeah, I said sort of. It's
I know,
definitely
I
not
know.
an MMO.
Kinda,
it's
maybe.
just it's MO. It's not massive. It's not no.
Or what was that
But
But
game?
it is online.
Yeah.
What was that game we played for a while? Had the TV show.
Oh, Defiance.
Defiance.
I
Oh,
missed
yeah,
that
that
one.
was
That
pretty
was
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
I had a lot
That
of
game
fun
was
with
pretty good. The
It
clipping
was-
was weird.
That and it was
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of bare
footage
bones.
that we kept from
there
that was
wasn't
good.
a lot to it, but I
Yeah.
still enjoyed it.
That was a solid attempt.
Yeah.
So next up is episodic gaming. How does everybody feel about that? You know, you buy part of the game, maybe $5-7, and you gotta wait a little bit before the next episode comes
It's
out.
like your
I mean,
Telltale Games, Your Life is Strange.
Resident Evil.
I don't mind it. I like it. It's the waiting part is kind of annoying, but and then if it's the good game like Telltale games, like The Walking Dead, it's worth the wait.
I mean, the feels.
Yes.
This is the feels game.
The feels.
In general, I'm totally cool with that, but they have to stick to their schedule. Like Telltale a few times has, like Wolf Among Us was a really bad example of it.
But was it really on schedule though? Because every time I've ever looked up a release date for a Telltale game, it's been like, oh, it might come out in like a month or two.
In a
No,
month or two.
Like
and
we're
then,
shooting for spring. Like
That-
it's
and then they narrow it down.
That's
Oh,
kind
it
of what
might
I
be
mean,
May.
though. Man. These need to be
Like, that's it.
not necessarily monthly releases, but we have to have a clear idea
no,
of
yeah,
when it's
because then they
coming
just
out.
come out without like a lot of fanfare, and you're like, oh wait, that came out.
Yeah.
They need to street date the
Yeah.
episodes,
I
so
would-
if they
I
don't
would
miss
lose
it, they gotta
interest.
pay a fine.
I would lose interest.
Any episodic game, or just in general?
And
like,
just in
have to
general.
wait.
Wait, well, I have a terrible attention span. So it's like, oh yeah, that game I played like few months ago.
Yeah, I'm on the fence. Like, I don't. It reminds me of like a really good TV show, especially like the Telltale games. Like, you play a couple hours, and then they usually end up with a cliffhanger, and then you have to wait a couple months for the next one. It just makes me feel like a TV show, so it makes the wait maybe a little bit easier, just because I'm used to it with shows, you know, like Game of Thrones and.
But when winter break happens on Arrow, I get furious.
Those hiatus, yeah.
Oh my god.
It's weird though. I think it's per game with me. Yeah, Wolf Among Us, there was kind of that gap. But we've been playing. Was it Resident Evil?
Yeah, that was first of all that was really good.
Wait, there's a Telltale Resident
It's
Evil?
not
No,
Telltale.
it's Capcom. It's
yeah,
an
it's
Resident
still
Evil
Capcom.
game, Revelations 2.
Yeah, and they've been putting that out via episodes.
But
Oh, okay.
they did it like every week, so all 4 episodes came out in a month, pretty much.
Oh, okay, so that's fantastic.
Yeah,
that sounds
it was
great.
really good. We were actually surprised at how quickly each one came out.
I think the one that's really surprised me, and I think it's just because there have been so many Telltale games. You know, I played Walking Dead, I played Wolf Among Us, and even like Game of Thrones and stuff. Is Life is Strange? Square Enix has actually put out Life is Strange, and that's on its 2nd episode now.
Yeah.
And I don't know, yeah, my attention span, especially at working full time and stuff, is like, ugh, okay, I just want to sit down and just play the game. I don't want to have to wait forever. But that one in particular, not every, but the 2 episodes that I have played, it really just brings me right back in. You know,
Yeah, story is really well written in that game.
I highly recommend it. It's really good, and yeah, it's at first I wasn't sure because, well, for those of you who haven't played it, like she has this ability to pretty much rewind time. You know, she's a Prince of Persia type
Modern
deal.
day Prince of Persia. Yeah.
And at first I was like, okay, that's cheap because then you can just keep rewinding and like, oh, let me just fix what I messed up. But honestly, every choice that you make is, you know, consequential, and I love that. I loved that about all the Telltale games and stuff, but. Just in general, the voice acting is actually really good. The mocap is good. Just overall, Life is Strange. I would
The
highly
sound
recommend
design
it.
was really
Yeah,
good.
music, sound is just overall really good. But yeah, then out of the Telltale games, I think Borderlands, hands down, is like one of my favorites. The writing in it is actually really
The writing and
really
the
well
voice
done.
acting is just top notch.
I mean, you got
Troy
Troy Baker
and
in
Laura
it.
Bailey.
Yeah. But yeah, so with Telltale Games, it was really exciting. I haven't really looked too much into it yet, but Marvel, I guess, is in the works with Telltale to put out their own game. So I think that'll be pretty interesting.
That's on top of the Telltale Hunger Games, Telltale, and Minecraft as well.
Telltale
All in the works.
Minecraft?
Yeah. Don't know how that's gonna work, but I'm game.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
Steve, make all the choices.
The weird thing about the Marvel thing is, I mean, the only information that I saw, at least, was that it's Marvel.
And then it's coming out 2017.
Yeah. So, like, we don't actually know
Yeah.
really anything about the game itself, and I'm wondering if it's going to tie into the cinematic universe at all, if it's going to,
hope not.
like, advance the story there. And actually, part of me, one of the, I was trying to figure out earlier what they could possibly be doing with it. I wonder if it's going to be, like, to explain the Inhumans.
Possibly, yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
That because I mean that would be a good way of getting people to stop complaining about no mutants.
Myself, I don't really care. I don't like the Telltale games.
Because you're
Storyline-
uncultured.
How dare you?
No, don't get me wrong. The storylines are always cool. It's the gameplay I can't get past. I don't like having
Like
to search
that.
around forever for something just to find a way to unlock
You
the door.
mean
Talk
like
to some
in
guy.
Minecraft?
Not like that. Minecraft, I can run off and do something else if I get bored. Telltale, you can't advance the storyline until you actually find what you need for the story.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's true.
I love watching them online, watching other people play them, see what their decisions are, because they always have multiple endings.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
But
Well, at least you're open to that, though, too.
Yeah.
You're not just like, I hate this concept. I don't even want to get near it. So
as for playing it myself, like she has a short attention span, I would just be like, yeah, I'm done.
you just choose like the dialogue, whatever.
There's not
I
into,
don't care what I
like
I'm
the
an
sort
asshole.
of point and click style kind of thing.
Yeah.
But as for like Resident Evil, I want to play that. I just haven't had time. It looks really good. I've seen Krys play it, so
Yeah.
it's on my list.
So the other big news this week was Steam now charging for mods. Okay, it's the developers charging, and then Steam is taking their cut.
You know, I'm not that doesn't upset me. A lot of the guys who make these mods put a ton of work into this stuff, and they've been doing this for decades. No, literally, like
Yeah.
Battlefield 1942. I knew a guy that there was a level where like the aircraft didn't work properly, and the dude wrote a patch for the game just because he loved playing the game.
Yeah.
And he put it out there for everyone to use. Eventually, it even got folded into the actual game patches.
Yeah. No, I think that's fantastic. Yeah.
You know, some of these guys, they spend, you know, tens or even hundreds of hours developing these mods, and I don't think it's unfair to pay somebody for their work. you
Right.
know? Now, certain mods definitely not.
Yeah, I was like, there's a difference.
if it's a new nude skin for Skyrim, no,
Yes.
you don't deserve money for that.
Yes. Oh,
Or-
I mean, no.
It deserves double money for it. You're right.
Like if you're paying more than like a quarter for that,
$40.
Generally, I mean, all these years people have been doing it because they're passionate about the games and they love the games, or maybe they want to fix something about it, or they want to add to it. But my thing is, yeah, they are entitled to whatever they want to charge for it for their work. But Steam is taking a really huge cut. A huge
Yeah, I
cut,
think that's really what
75%.
the
ooh, it's
the
75.
upset-
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
The modders, the developers, they make 25 cents on the dollar.
Okay, I didn't know that Steam was taking that extreme of a cut. That sucks. I think that needs to be
But that's Steam,
sort of
it's not really the
readdressed.
Yeah.
I think it's fair that they're taking a cut.
Well, yeah, it's their
75% is
platform,
insane.
So yeah, but
Yeah, 75% is insane. That's and I mean you brought up like a lot of these guys were doing it because it was like stuff they were passionate about. I mean that's the same way Twitch and YouTube have ad space. Is people did this for years for free.
yeah.
And then they were able to put ads on there, and that's fantastic.
And now we have millionaires.
honestly, Google does actually take the majority of the ad revenue.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's mostly okay because you never see what the actual ad revenue is.
Yeah.
But to charge a flat rate for a mod and then take 75% of it, that's a little shitty.
Yeah.
If it was even 50%, I wouldn't feel bad about that. That sounds fine. Because they have to host the content, and
Right.
I can't imagine running Steam.
But here's
cheap.
the thing too, because I actually watched. Are you guys familiar with Boogie, the YouTuber?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boogie 2988. He's a YouTuber. He does like rants and stuff, and he was talking about what happens when you buy a mod and then the developers of the game update it and that mod no longer works, and then the developers of the mod stop caring. Like they don't want to update the mod again so that it'll work again. So what happens then?
That's fair, but that's a problem with digital content in general. At any point, a developer can say, "We're done. This content's no longer available." And if you still have it installed, you can play it, but in the future, you won't be able to reinstall it. And technically, you got what you paid for if you got
Well,
any
yeah,
amount
but-
of time at all with it.
Well,
And
what I'm saying though is, say I buy a mod today and then the developers update the game tomorrow, I can't use that mod anymore.
Right, and I agree that sucks, but technically they're not doing anything wrong there.
No, I know.
It definitely sucks, and it'd be cool if Steam reimbursed you for that.
I
even
guess
if it was
there's
like
like a 10 or 14 day period where you can get a refund.
Oh, okay, that's good of them.
No, I thought it was kind of cool. Some of the mods that I've actually been cast in, I guess, for like voice work. One of them being the Elder Scrolls Revival of Skywind. They actually put out a statement saying that they're not going to be selling their mods, and that kind of goes with what Steve was mentioning. Is just like it's a really elaborate mod. So on one hand, I'm surprised they're not going to charge just because of all the hard work they're actually putting into this, and for those of you not familiar with it, they're basically taking the Skyrim engine and converting the Morrowind gameplay into the Skyrim.
I had heard about that. That's
engine.
pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's actually really neat. I kind of asked this while we were offline, but I mean, for some modders, is there money to be made in that, or is it just one of those things where, I love this game, I'm totally gonna make an add-on for it?
Well, I think that's what they're trying to figure out.
I mean, Skyrim, I think, is probably the perfect platform to test it on because, I mean, for one, people dump hundreds of hours onto that.
Yeah.
Right.
But also, like, a lot of the content being created, like, it's bigger than some people pay for, like, map packs and stuff.
But then
Like,
the first paid mod that came out for Skyrim, did you see that?
No.
Was a fishing minigame,
No.
Oh, hell yeah. I'd
which
pay for
I
that.
guess
Well-
got taken off
well-
for X reason, but
I mean, that could still be fair. What were they charging for it? If it was like $2 or $3,
I think it was a couple bucks. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I don't hate them for that. I wouldn't buy the mod, but that's because I don't think it's interesting. But I mean, like I was saying though, map packs. I mean, some of them you get like 4 maps.
Oh yeah.
And you're paying like $15 for that.
Yeah.
Charging for mods, as far as I'm concerned, is fair play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of I guess one of the reactions to I guess Nintendo and YouTube, one of the ones that kind of not necessarily got out of hand, but just a little heated. He was very passionate about it. We had the mention of a YouTuber. It was Angry Joe. He was very upset about Nintendo and their YouTube policies. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
On the one hand, I think he kind of blew it out of proportion. All of this was already known beforehand, so it wasn't a surprise to him when it happened. I think it's not unfair for any content creator to say, hey, you're using our stuff, we want to cut. On the other side of that, though, I do think it's kind of crappy that people who are trying to make their living off of this stuff, which I guess technically is making their living off of other people's stuff, are getting cuts taken out. But I don't know. I see both sides of it. I don't hate Nintendo for it. I just think their rules system that they're going with this is very wonky.
I just wish there was kind of more of an explanation as to why, other than it's mine. It's mine. I'm going to take my money for it. But, we watch, you and I mean, we watch a lot of YouTubers and a lot of Let's Plays, and it really gives games that exposure. I mean, I know I've bought, even from Steam and, for Xbox, games that we watch streamers and YouTubers actually play. Because, I mean, in a sense, that's kind of almost like a beta, us checking it out before we buy it. Yeah. And so for them to just kind of turn around and be like, nope, you can't use that anymore. I'm like, it's giving your property, essentially, your games, that exposure so people can see how fun it is and then go out and buy it. And so I don't entirely understand that, other than, the greed factor, I guess, just wanting their money because it's their property.
It's their right to want the money. I mean, they are a business.
But if it's a model that works for all of the, every other developer, games like...
Well, it's like you said, it's exposure, and it's kind of like the argument, like we've talked before, about pre-owned games and how, companies tend to not like selling pre-owned games. Obviously, they want their cut, but at the same time, it's another way for someone to check out the game and, say they end up liking the game or, the series or whatever, they become... fans, they'll start buying and pre-ordering the new games as they come out from that company. So I get where they're coming from, where, they like their cut because they do work hard on these games, but in a way it's like free marketing for them, I think.
I think this is probably one of the biggest dick moves.
Yes, it's a dick
ever.
move.
It's super fucked up. The problem isn't necessarily that Nintendo is getting their cut, and that's fair. They do deserve their cut. But they're the only company doing it. They're doing it to people who are giving them free advertisement, as you basically already brought up.
Exactly.
And as a consequence, they're losing a lot of YouTubers.
Yep.
We would see a lot more coverage of Nintendo games because they make some pretty great games. Mm-hmm. I just don't understand it. Okay, it's a weird move, and basically a legal staring contest, because nobody's going to sue Nintendo because that establishes case law, and if you lose that case.
Yeah.
You fuck over a lot of people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you win that case, it's awesome for YouTubers and for Twitch streamers and everything like that. But that's so unlikely. It would just be tied up in litigation for years, and then Nintendo has an army of lawyers. Mm-hmm. And if you're one YouTuber, you're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an asshole move. Technically, they're right.
YouTubers down.
Technically, Nintendo is right. They can take their cut.
Yeah.
And the terms they're offering are fair-ish.
But is it morally right?
Hell no. I mean, part of their partnership program is they get to check out your video. I think it's 3 days before you can post
Something like
it.
that,
yeah. So for 3 days, you have to wonder whether or not this piece of content,
whether or not you wasted 8-12 hours recording and editing and stuff for nothing.
Yeah. And if it were to ever go to court, that's an interesting thing that somebody could bring up, is damages caused by Nintendo's partnership program, because for 3 days you weren't playing content.
Mm-hmm.
and you could have been making ad revenue on it. But that's a very difficult thing to prove. And on the other hand, on Nintendo's side, they can be claiming damages because people aren't buying the game because they're watching you play it. But again, that's a very, very difficult thing to prove. We don't really know who would come out on top.
What if you just promise to buy all their amiibos if they let you play their games?
I think
If
one
you
of our
promise to
coworkers.
buy all of their amiibos, you need a lobotomy.
Well, it's strange to me to just kind of going back to the thing that we're saying that it's free advertising. It's just for the last few years, even at every E3, we're like, what are they gonna do now? What are they putting out? And the other other big names, the other titans in gaming, they're basically putting out new games, putting out new content and stuff out there, and they're allowing people to play. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's a model that works for other companies, and it's a model that advertises their content. So wouldn't they see the benefit of that advertising? Like, I didn't know anything about these amiibos. Someone tried to sit there and explain it to me, and my eyes glazed over because I was like, what?
It's like Skylanders.
Huh?
It's like Skylanders.
Right, but having not
But
played,
not even.
as I hadn't even
elaborate.
played that game, I was like, I don't know what this is. And then I started watching the YouTubers, and they're playing Smash Bros and stuff with their amiibos, and I was like, okay, now I understand. That's a lot of fun, and if it was something
it's
I
a
was
cool
interested
concept.
in, I would buy it. But
Is it a gimmick? Hell yes.
Two other points I kind of wanted to bring up. One, because of something you just said. You mentioned Smash Bros.
yeah,
That's another part where Nintendo is potentially really damaging themselves. Is Smash Bros. After a long time is really getting credit in the fighting game scene.
oh yeah.
I don't even think Smash Bros. Is on their list of stuff you can stream.
Oh wow.
I
Okay,
got it.
that's real dumb.
Yeah.
But just even in general, even if it is on the list, there's so many YouTubers moving away from Nintendo content because they don't want to give 60% of what they see as their revenue to Nintendo. So we're not getting coverage on Smash Bros.
Right.
I've seen 2 Twitch channels streaming it. I don't think I've ever seen any content on YouTube from it. I'm sure I could find some if I looked, but
I've watched quite a few YouTubers playing
Okay.
Smash Bros. So it's
and
People are
I'm
playing
sure
it,
it's
it's
out
just-
there, but they could
But-
have more coverage.
well that and just because of the whole thing, a lot of people just don't want to deal with it, and they're just washing their hands of Nintendo. Period.
Yeah, and actually that brings me to my other point. It creates an interesting opportunity. There are a ton of YouTubers moving away from Nintendo, and if you're willing to do their partnership program, there's a pretty open market there. So if you were wanting to get
For
started
a
in
price.
yes, but if you assume that there's a decent sized market, I don't want to say a huge market, but a decent sized market of people who want to see these Nintendo games, but they just can't because Nintendo has shit on a lot
Right,
of people.
but okay. Say I'm a YouTuber that does Let's Plays, and that's what I live off of. Is it really smart for me to waste my time when all these other companies, I can play all these games and make so much money off of all these other games, and then I have to go to Nintendo on my hands and knees and ask them if I can play this game, and please sir, can I have some more?
That's why I said for people starting out.
Well, yeah.
If you're looking for people to follow you, then it's an interesting market.
Yeah.
It might be great. I'm not willing to try it myself, so
Yeah.
I don't know. You could potentially generate a following there
No, I gotcha.
when you're not relying on the income. Once you quit your job, you're not switching over to Nintendo.
Yeah.
That's career suicide.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, looking at the list, just going down aside from a few of their bigger titles, to me it makes me feel like they're just trying to ensure that a lot of their smaller title games, through getting their cut of the revenue that the YouTubers would be providing them through advertisements and stuff like that, is to ensure that Nintendo gets their cut of those games. So, most people that get the Wii U aren't going to be like, oh, I better get Game & Wario or Wii Fit U. But, yeah, to me it looks like it's their insurance policy to ensure that they get at least something back for the stuff they're putting out that's not as big of a title. Especially Super Smash Bros. Tons of people would watch other people just
Oh yeah.
trying to figure out ways and combos and stuff like that. People watch Magic tournaments and stuff like that to try and figure out how to build their stuff.
How to make them? Yeah.
Now,
how
to be
make them
fair,
better.
this policy is just on Nintendo first party stuff, correct? It's not on any third party
But first party for Nintendo, I believe, is really where they make their money.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you know, when you think Nintendo, you think Mario, you think Zelda. You know, I mean, and with those big name games, like you want to see that content.
Oh
You
yeah,
want it.
I'm just
That
saying,
usually
like they're
trends.
not forcing this policy on. Say Joe wants to stream or let's play Bayonetta 2. Like, are they gonna take their cut on that one?
I'm actually not sure about that. Is that?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was under the impression that it was basically anything played on a Nintendo platform. I could be wrong about that. I'm not
Yeah,
too
I
sure.
wouldn't be surprised if it was just if
But-
it says Nintendo on it.
Just a blanket.
GTFO.
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, that has a lot of the same effect because Nintendo pissed off a lot of the third-party creators with the Wii U. It was a really bad decision to make that console, and that sounds weird because it's actually great. I love my Wii U.
It's growing again too,
Yeah.
especially after Smash Brothers. Like it's getting pretty popular. I'm actually almost wanting one now. So
I love my Wii U. I play it more than my 1 or my 4. So
see, this is not the correct time to talk about that.
Family friendly.
Family friendly show.
I hate you guys.
NSFW.
I don't know. It's you're terrible people. It's fun though. Hyrule Warriors is fun.
That's what I've heard.
Fuck
yeah.
you guys.